As I've been thinking about these past few weeks and just reflecting on what it means to be a disciple in our world today, what does it mean to be someone who loves God with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength, and loves my neighbor as myself? Thinking about what it means to live a life of love, of God's love, living out God's love to those around me, to my neighbors. And I've been thinking about the hardest thing about that is to listen, to truly listen. James says this in James chapter 1, verse 19, "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger, for the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God." And as I've been reflecting, there's a lot of anger, of the anger of man in our world, and is not reflective of the righteousness of God. And I've even noticed in myself, there are times when I feel that anger, that just anxiety and frustration stirring in my soul, and I'm not always certain that it's reflective of the righteousness of God. And when I'm talking about listening, that hard aspect of love, to listen to somebody, I'm not talking about sitting in a room and hearing what they're saying so that you can formulate your response, or so that you can understand, okay, this is where they're coming from, and this is how I can break down their argument and attack them with the truth. No, to listen is to see them as somebody else, a human created in the image of God, just as valuable as I am. To understand their value system, to understand their story, to hear their story, and to feel what they feel. Not necessarily to say, oh, I'm agreeing with you now, but simply to listen to them, to say, yes, you are my equal, you are fully human, and the way you're thinking about this makes sense. I understand it now because I'm listening to you. And because I've listened to you, now we can talk. And now I can engage with you as somebody that I love, as somebody that knows that I love them. And again, that's the hardest part, because I don't know how you feel about the coronavirus. I don't know how you feel about how our governor has handled the coronavirus. I don't know how you feel about the murder of George Floyd. I don't know how you feel about the protests that have arisen because of that. But I want to listen. And I want to talk. And so my question and encouragement to you is, are you ready to listen? Are you willing to listen? Are we willing to humble ourselves and sit face to face with somebody and listen? Not to somebody who agrees with us, because that's easy. Jesus even says, no, not even loving those who love you, because that's easy to do. Everybody does that. But he calls us to love our enemies, love those who we might not agree with. And so are we willing to listen, to sit down, to hear, to understand, so that we might lead others to Christ, because he is the only one who has all the knowledge, all the truth, not us, not anybody else. So would you join me in listening? As disciples of Jesus, may we be known as those who listen well in this season.